के लोगों ने उसे मात दी और सब वापस आ गए एक ही चुटकी में। एनर्जी बहुत बढ़ गई और इमर्जेंस शुरू। हम इटर्नल्स हैं। इंसानों को टीवी से बचा लें।
मगर किसने? हमें बाकी इटर्नल्स को ढूंढना होगा।
अगर किसी से प्यार करो
The story of Eternals begins in a time long before recorded history, a vast and primordial era, when the Earth was still in its infancy. The opening moments of the film transport the audience to this ancient world, one teeming with untamed landscapes, wild beasts, and early humans struggling to survive. The Earth of this era is both beautiful and dangerous, a place where life clings on despite the constant threats from nature and predators alike. It is in this environment that the Eternals, a group of godlike beings, make their arrival. Their descent to Earth is a moment of pure cinematic grandeur, as their ship pierces the atmosphere like a shining beacon of hope. The Eternals are not just any beings, they are creations of the Celestials, powerful cosmic entities who shape the universe itself. The leader of the Celestials, Arishem, sends the Eternals to Earth with a singular purpose: to protect humanity from monstrous creatures called deviants. These deviants are terrifying beasts that prey on humans, threatening not just individual lives, but the survival of entire civilizations. They are chaotic, destructive, and relentless, and their existence poses an existential threat to humanity's fragile beginnings. As the Eternals arrive, they step out of their ship, each one radiating an aura of power and mystery. They are a striking and diverse group, each with unique abilities that reflect their role in the group. Their presence is both awe-inspiring and reassuring, as if divine protectors have come to safeguard humanity in its most vulnerable state. The film wastes no time in showcasing their powers, plunging the audience straight into an intense battle against the deviants. This opening sequence is visually stunning, a true spectacle that immediately immerses the viewer in the scale and stakes of the story. The deviants, with their grotesque, sinewy forms, charge toward a group of early humans, their snarls echoing across the landscape. Just as the humans prepare for what seems to be their inevitable doom, the Eternals step in, unleashing their incredible powers in perfect coordination. Icarus, the strongest and most iconic of the group, soars into the sky like a mythical hero. His ability to emit beams of cosmic energy from his eyes is both destructive and mesmerizing, cutting through the deviants with precision. He fights with a confidence and strength that immediately establishes him as the group's most formidable warrior. Watching him in action is like witnessing a living legend. His presence alone is enough to turn the tide of battle. Thena, the fierce and graceful warrior, is another standout in this sequence. Played by Angelina Jolie, Thena is a vision of elegance and ferocity as she conjures weapons from pure energy with effortless skill. One moment she wields a sword, the next a spear or shield, adapting seamlessly to the flow of combat. Her movements are almost balletic, each strike delivered with deadly precision. She is a protector, but also an artist in battle, her actions as beautiful as they are deadly. Yet, even in these early moments, there's a subtle undercurrent of sadness in Thena's demeanor. a hint of the struggles she will face later in the story. The other Eternals also shine in this battle, each demonstrating their unique gifts. Cersei, with her power to transform matter, saves a group of humans by turning a rushing stream of water into solid rock, creating a barrier against the deviants. Phastos, the group's technological genius, uses his inventions to trap and destroy their enemies, showing the innovative strategic side of their fight. Sprite, the Eternal Child, casts illusions that confuse the deviants and protect her comrades. Each member of the team contributes something vital, and their unity is as much a weapon as their individual powers. What sets this sequence apart, however, is not just the action, but the emotion behind it. The Eternals are not merely warriors. They are caretakers, sent to protect and nurture humanity. This mission is not one of conquest or domination, but of guardianship. As they fight the deviants, there is a sense of purpose and even love in their actions. They are saving lives, ensuring the survival of a species that is just beginning to find its place in the world. The early humans, in turn, look upon the Eternals with a mixture of fear, awe, and gratitude. To them, these beings are gods, and their arrival marks the beginning of a new chapter in humanity's story. The battle ends with the Eternals victorious, the deviants defeated, and the humans safe once more. But this is only the beginning of their journey. As the dust settles, the Eternals look out at the humans they have saved, a silent understanding passing between them. They are here for the long haul, not just to fight but to guide and protect. This moment sets the tone for the entire film, establishing the Eternals as more than just heroes. They are stewards of humanity, bound to their mission by both duty and a growing sense of connection to the people they serve. As the Eternals settle into their role on Earth, the film begins to explore the complexities of their mission. While they are tasked with protecting humanity, they are forbidden by Ereshkigal to interfere in human conflicts or shape the course of history directly. This restriction creates an immediate tension within the group, as some members struggle with the moral implications of standing by while humans suffer. The Eternals are powerful, but they are not all-knowing or infallible. They grapple with questions of purpose, free will, and the weight of their immortality. This opening segment of Eternals does more than just introduce the characters and set up the story. It establishes the film's central themes. It is a story about legacy, responsibility, and the eternal struggle between duty and compassion. The Eternals, though immortal, are deeply human in their emotions and conflicts. They are bound by their mission, but also by their love for the people they protect. This duality makes them fascinating characters, and their story is one that resonates on both an epic and personal level. The ancient past depicted in these opening moments is not just a backdrop but a character in its own right. The landscapes, from lush forests to arid deserts, are beautifully rendered, creating a sense of a world that is both wild and full of potential. The early humans, though primitive, are shown with dignity and resilience, emphasizing the worthiness of their survival. The Eternals' arrival marks a turning point in this world, a moment when the divine intersects with the mortal, setting the stage for a story that spans millennia. In just these early moments, Eternals manages to weave a tale that is both epic and intimate. The action is breathtaking, the characters compelling, and the stakes monumental. But what truly stands out is the heart of the story. The idea that even the most powerful beings in the universe are defined not by their abilities, but by the choices they make and the connections they form. It's a powerful beginning to a film that seeks to explore the very essence of what it means to be human, even for those who are not. As the centuries roll by, the Eternals, beings of extraordinary power and wisdom, remain on Earth, living among humans and watching history unfold. These immortal beings, sent by the celestial Ereshkigal, are tasked with protecting humanity from the monstrous deviants. But they are bound by a strict rule. they must not interfere in human conflicts or disasters unless deviants are directly involved. This mandate, while clear in its purpose, becomes a source of tension and heartbreak as the Eternals grow closer to the humans they are sworn to protect but not guide. The passage of time reveals the complexities of their mission. The Eternals are not just guardians. They are witnesses to humanity's greatest achievements and darkest moments. They see civilizations rise and fall, from the towering ziggurats of Mesopotamia to the splendor of Babylon. They are present as humanity invents writing, agriculture, and the wheel. Their presence, though often subtle, helps shape these milestones. Cersei, with her ability to transform matter, often aids humanity in ways that appear small but have profound impacts. She turns barren land into fertile fields and stone into tools. Her love for humanity evident in every quiet act of kindness. Yet, this connection to humanity is not without its struggles. Cersei, deeply empathetic and curious, finds herself growing attached to the humans she encounters. She sees their potential, their capacity for love, art, and innovation. She marvels at their resilience, even in the face of war and disaster. Over time, she begins to question the Eternals' mandate. Why should they stand by and do nothing as humans suffer? Her desire to help, to be more involved, becomes a recurring theme in her story. She embodies the hope and optimism that humans, despite their flaws, are worth saving, not just from external threats like deviants, but from their own self-destructive tendencies. On the other hand, Druig, another Eternal, takes a different approach. His gift, the ability to control minds, gives him a unique perspective on humanity. Druig witnesses countless acts of violence and cruelty, from wars to massacres, and it weighs heavily on him. Unlike Cersei, who holds on to hope, Druig becomes disillusioned with humanity. He struggles with the Eternals' rule of non-interference, believing it to be cruel and unjust. Why should they stand idle when they have the power to stop wars, end suffering, and create peace? This internal conflict becomes a defining part of his character. Druig's frustration boils over during a key moment in the film, where he defies Arisham's mandate and uses his powers to stop a bloody conflict. His actions highlight the moral gray area the Eternals inhabit, torn between their loyalty to Arisham and their compassion for humanity. The film beautifully portrays the Eternals' connection to various civilizations throughout history. In Babylon, we see their influence as advisors and protectors, subtly guiding humanity's progress without overtly interfering. The city's grandeur, its towering walls, and its vibrant culture reflect the Eternals' quiet contributions. Phastos, the Eternal with unparalleled technological genius, plays a key role in these moments. His inventions and innovations often inspire humanity to push the boundaries of what is possible. However, Phastos is also cautious, understanding the destructive potential of technology in the wrong hands. His story becomes a poignant commentary on the double-edged sword of progress. Thena, the fierce warrior with the ability to conjure weapons from cosmic energy, represents another aspect of the Eternals' relationship with humanity. Her presence in battle is awe-inspiring, but her struggles with Mod Wairi, a condition caused by her immense memory spanning thousands of years, reveal the psychological toll of immortality. Despite her strength, Thena is deeply vulnerable, and her bond with Gilgamesh, who cares for her like a brother, underscores the importance of love and loyalty among the Eternals. Their dynamic offers a glimpse into the personal sacrifices the Eternals make to fulfill their mission. As the centuries unfold, the film subtly explores how the Eternals' presence influences human culture, mythology, and religion. The humans they protect often view them as gods, creating legends and stories inspired by their powers and deeds. Icarus, with his ability to fly and emit beams of energy from his eyes, becomes the basis for tales of gods and heroes. Sprite, the eternal who can cast illusions, entertains and mesmerizes with her stories, weaving myths that endure through the ages. These moments add depth to the narrative, showing how the Eternals leave their mark on humanity not just through actions, but also through inspiration. Despite their divine abilities, the Eternals are deeply flawed beings, grappling with their purpose and the weight of their immortality. They yearn for a sense of fulfillment beyond their mission to eradicate deviance. This yearning is especially evident in moments of quiet introspection. Kingo, who later becomes a Bollywood star in the modern era, reflects on the joy and vibrancy of human creativity. His decision to embrace fame and storytelling is his way of connecting with humanity, of finding purpose in a world where he cannot fully belong. The film doesn't shy away from exploring the darker aspects of the Eternals' long existence. They witness humanity's darkest moments, from wars to slavery, and it leaves scars. Phastos, for instance, is devastated by the use of his technological gifts in destructive ways, particularly during the Hiroshima bombing. This moment breaks his faith in humanity and causes him to retreat, isolating himself from the world. It's a heartbreaking reminder of the unintended consequences of their actions and the burden they carry as beings who exist outside the human timeline. At its core, the story of the Eternals living among humans is a tale of love, loss, and the search for meaning. They are outsiders, watching humanity from a distance yet unable to fully detach themselves. Their immortality is both a gift and a curse, allowing them to witness the beauty of human creativity and resilience, but also the pain of loss and the cyclical nature of human conflict. The tension between their divine mission and their human-like emotions creates a compelling narrative that resonates with audiences. In the present day, the Eternals' past actions and connections to humanity become even more significant as they confront the truth about their mission. The revelation that their purpose is not to protect humanity, but to prepare Earth for the emergence of a new celestial forces them to re-evaluate their relationship with the very beings they've watched over for millennia. This twist adds layers of complexity to their story as their love for humanity clashes with their loyalty to Arishem. Ultimately, the film's portrayal of the Eternals living among humans is a deeply human story, despite its cosmic scope. It explores themes of duty, free will, and the power of connection. The Eternals are gods in the eyes of humanity, but they are also deeply flawed, yearning for the same things humans do: love, purpose, and a sense of belonging. Their journey through history is a reflection of our own struggles and triumphs, making their story both epic and profoundly relatable. In the present day, the Eternals have long since scattered across the globe, living lives that, to the unknowing observer, would seem ordinary. Their mission, to protect humanity from the deviants, appears to have been completed centuries ago, and their once grand purpose seems like a relic of the past. Each of them has tried to find meaning or solace in their new existence, adapting in their own ways to the flow of human life. Among them is Circe, a kind-hearted Eternal who has taken to living a humble life in London. She works as a museum curator, her days spent surrounded by ancient artifacts that echo her own long history. Her connection to humanity has always been profound. She sees beauty and potential in them, and over the centuries, she has grown deeply fond of their ever-changing ways. Circe's life in London seems peaceful and unremarkable on the surface. She is in a relationship with Dane Whitman, a charming and somewhat unassuming man who works at the museum. Their relationship has a warmth and simplicity to it, grounding Circe in a way that feels both comforting and refreshingly human. Dane, unaware of Circe's true identity as an Eternal, is fascinated by her knowledge and wisdom, though he attributes it to her scholarly pursuits. There's an endearing normalcy to their dynamic: dates, shared jokes, and quiet moments in the bustling city that makes Cersei feel almost like a part of the world she spent millennia watching evolve. But this quiet life is disrupted in the most shocking and violent way. One evening, as Cersei walks with Dane and Sprite, a fellow Eternal who remains perpetually trapped in the body of a young girl due to her unique nature, the unthinkable happens. Out of nowhere, a monstrous deviant appears in the middle of the city, causing chaos and destruction. The streets of London, typically full of life and energy, erupt into a scene of terror as pedestrians scream and scatter. For Cersei, the sight of the creature is both surreal and horrifying. The deviants were believed to be extinct, defeated long ago. Their reappearance defies everything she and the other Eternals had come to believe. The attack is brutal and swift. The deviant is unlike any Cersei has faced before, more powerful and resilient than those of the past. It targets her and Sprite directly, as if drawn to them by some unseen force. Cersei's heart races as she confronts the reality that her quiet, human-like existence can no longer be maintained. She has no choice but to act, revealing her powers in front of Dane for the first time. With a calm determination, she uses her ability to manipulate matter, transforming objects around her to try and subdue the creature. Sprite, too, leaps into action, conjuring dazzling illusions to confuse and distract the deviant. The contrast between Sprite's youthful appearance and her ancient battle-hardened demeanor is striking. She fights with the skill of someone who has seen countless battles, even as her form remains that of a child. Despite their combined efforts, the deviant proves to be a formidable opponent. Its strength and speed are overwhelming, and for a moment it seems as though Cersei and Sprite might be outmatched. Dane, though utterly bewildered and terrified, shows a surprising amount of bravery, trying to help in any way he can. But he is no match for the chaos unfolding before him. The situation grows increasingly dire, and just when it seems all hope might be lost, a familiar figure arrives. From the sky descends Icarus, one of the most powerful of the Eternals, whose abilities are often compared to those of Superman in their sheer strength and spectacle. His arrival is nothing short of heroic. Beams of energy shoot from his eyes as he charges into battle, his presence instantly shifting the tide. Icarus fights with an ease and confidence that comes from centuries of experience, his powers far exceeding those of the deviant. The contrast between his stoic demeanor and the raw energy of his abilities creates a mesmerizing display of strength and control. For Cersei, the sight of him is both a relief and a poignant reminder of their shared past. With Icarus's help, the deviant is ultimately defeated, but the encounter leaves more questions than answers. As the dust settles and the chaos subsides, Cersei is left grappling with the implications of what has just occurred. How could a deviant have survived all these centuries? Why has it resurfaced now? And what does its presence mean for the Eternals and their mission? These questions weigh heavily on her, and for the first time in a long while, she feels the stirrings of the old purpose that once defined her existence. Dane, meanwhile, is left in shock and confusion. The woman he thought he knew, a gentle, insightful curator, has just revealed a side of herself that he never could have imagined. His world is thrown into upheaval as he tries to process the reality of what he has witnessed. Cersei, ever empathetic, struggles with how much to reveal to him, knowing that her truth could change their relationship forever. But there's little time to dwell on personal matters. The reappearance of the deviant signals something much larger at play, and Cersei knows they must act quickly. This encounter also marks the beginning of the Eternals' journey to reunite after centuries of separation. Each of them has lived their own life, found their own way to cope with their immortality, and now they are being called back to face a threat they thought was long behind them. For Cersei, this means not only stepping back into a world of conflict and responsibility, but also confronting the unresolved emotions and relationships from her past, especially with Icarus, whose presence stirs a complex mix of feelings within her. The re-emergence of the deviants also reignites the mystery surrounding their origins and purpose. Cersei begins to sense that there is more to their story, that perhaps the Eternals themselves do not fully understand their mission or the role they were meant to play. This uncertainty is both frightening and invigorating. For centuries, Cersei and the others have followed the directives of Arishem, their celestial creator, without question. Now, faced with a threat that defies their understanding, she begins to wonder if there is more to their existence than they have been told. This pivotal moment sets the stage for the larger story of Eternals, where questions of duty, identity, and purpose come to the forefront. The attack in London is more than just an action-packed sequence. It's a catalyst for the Eternals to rediscover their place in the world and confront the truths they have long avoided. It challenges them to look beyond the roles they were assigned and consider the impact of their choices on the very world they were sent to protect. For Cersei, the experience is transformative. The quiet life she had built in London, her connection to Dane, and her deep love for humanity now stand in stark contrast to the cosmic conflict that is pulling her back into the fold. The Deviants' attack is a reminder that her past can never truly be left behind, and her journey to uncover the truth about the Eternals and their mission will test her in ways she could never have imagined. In this moment, the audience feels the weight of Cersei's dilemma. Her humanity, despite her immortality, shines through as she balances her love for the world she has come to call home with the immense responsibility she carries as an Eternal. It's a deeply personal and relatable struggle, even as it unfolds against the backdrop of a grand cosmic saga. The moment the trio, Cersei, Icarus, and Sprite, realizes that the Deviants have returned and pose a new, unknown threat, the urgency of their mission becomes palpable. They can no longer rely on their fragmented lives to remain hidden from the chaos. The realization sets the stage for a heartfelt and bittersweet journey to reunite the Eternals, each of whom has been separated for centuries, scattered across the world in their pursuit of individuality and meaning. It is a journey filled with reunions, introspection, humor, and heartbreak, revealing how each Eternal has adapted, or failed to adapt, to their immortal existence. Their first stop takes them to Kingo, who has transformed his eternal life into a dazzling spectacle by becoming a Bollywood superstar. Kingo, ever the showman, fully embraces the glitz and glamour of human culture, reveling in his fame and the adoration of millions. His life is a stark contrast to the secrecy and solemnity of the others. When we are introduced to him, he is in the middle of shooting an extravagant dance number for his latest film, surrounded by a crew that worships him as a deity, though they, of course, don't realize he actually is one. Kingo's humor and larger-than-life personality add a comedic touch to the story, providing much-needed levity amid the looming threat of annihilation. Yet beneath the flamboyance, there's a sense of loneliness. He is surrounded by people but unable to truly connect with them as he hides the truth of his identity. His valet, Karun, is the only one who knows the full story and serves as both his confidant and comic relief. Kingo's reluctance to leave his cushy lifestyle is initially amusing, but later reveals his internal conflict. Despite his fame, he longs for a deeper purpose, a purpose he may only find by rejoining his family of Eternals. The next stop is far removed from the limelight and indulgence of Bollywood. Cersei, Icarus, and Sprite venture into the wilderness to find Gilgamesh and Thena, who have chosen isolation over integration with humanity. The contrast between Kingo's bustling life and the quiet serenity of Gilgamesh and Thena's existence is striking. Here we witness a deeply intimate and moving dynamic between two beings who have chosen to retreat from the world because of the burdens of immortality. Gilgamesh, ever loyal and nurturing, has devoted his life to caring for Thena, who suffers from Madwairi. This condition, unique to Eternals, is a result of the overwhelming weight of memories spanning thousands of years. Athena, once a proud and fierce warrior, now struggles with moments where she loses control, unable to distinguish between past and present. Her episodes are dangerous, not just for herself but for those around her. And yet, Gilgamesh never wavers in his commitment to her, embodying the strength of familial love and devotion. The interactions between Gilgamesh and Athena are both heartwarming and tragic. Gilgamesh's light-hearted humor is a soothing balm for Athena's struggles, and their bond transcends romantic love. It's an unshakable partnership forged in trust and understanding. There's a beautiful scene where Gilgamesh prepares a meal for Athena, using his strength to cook with care and precision. It's a mundane moment, yet it feels monumental because it humanizes these godlike beings. Through this small act of kindness, we see the toll of their immortality, but also the love that keeps them going. Athena, for her part, is a complex and layered character. While her condition leaves her vulnerable, her spirit remains fierce. She carries the weight of her warrior past with grace, and even in her moments of fragility, there's a fire in her eyes that reminds us of her strength. Her journey is one of resilience, and her connection with Gilgamesh is a testament to the enduring bonds that can be forged even in the face of eternity. As Circe, Icarus, and Sprite reunite with Gilgamesh and Athena, we see the beginnings of the larger family coming together. The conversations among them are filled with warmth, but also a sense of underlying sadness. Each has carved out a life for themselves, but there's an unspoken understanding that none of them have truly found peace. Immortality, as glamorous as it might seem, has left them all yearning for something more, something that perhaps only their shared purpose as Eternals can provide. The reunion also brings tension, particularly between Icarus and the others. His unwavering loyalty to their original mission contrasts sharply with Circe's growing attachment to humanity. Gilgamesh, ever the peacemaker, tries to diffuse these tensions with his humor, but it's clear that the philosophical divide among the group will be a recurring challenge. These moments of conflict are deeply relatable, as they mirror the struggles of any family trying to reconcile different beliefs and priorities. The journey to reunite the Eternals is not just a physical one but an emotional and spiritual one as well. Through these reunions, the film explores themes of identity, purpose, and the complexity of relationships. Each Eternal represents a different way of coping with immortality. Kingo through fame and distraction, Gilgamesh through devotion and service, and Athena through resilience in the face of vulnerability. Their stories are deeply human, despite their superhuman abilities, and this is what makes their journey so compelling. As the trio sets out to find the remaining Eternals, the bonds between the group start to rebuild, though not without challenges. Old wounds resurface, and the group must navigate their shared history while confronting the new threat that has brought them back together. It's a testament to the strength of their connection that, despite their differences, they are willing to come together to protect the planet they have called home for thousands of years. Through these reunions, we see the Eternals not as invincible gods, but as individuals grappling with the same struggles and emotions as the humans they were sent to protect. Their immortality is both a blessing and a curse, allowing them to witness the beauty and pain of humanity over millennia, but also leaving them isolated and longing for meaning. It's this duality that makes their story so poignant and relatable, drawing the audience into their world and their struggles. In these moments of reunion, Eternals reminds us of the power of connection and the enduring strength of family, whether by blood or by choice. Each member of the team brings a unique perspective and set of experiences, enriching the group and reminding us that it is through our differences, not in spite of them, that we find our greatest strength. As the Eternals reunite after centuries apart, they begin piecing together a web of mysteries surrounding their existence and the true nature of their mission. What they uncover is both devastating and transformative, shaking the very foundations of their beliefs. It all begins when Cersei, who has now taken on a leadership role within the group, receives a vision from Arishem, the prime celestial, and their creator. In this vision, Arishem imparts a truth so profound that it forever alters her understanding of the world and of herself. Through Arishem's revelations, Cersei learns that the Eternals were never sent to Earth to protect humanity out of benevolence. Their true purpose was far more calculated and devoid of altruism. They were deployed to Earth to prepare the planet for the emergence of a new celestial Tiamat. Earth, as it turns out, is not just a planet, but a carefully chosen seedbed for Tiamat's gestation. Over millions of years, as human civilizations flourished and their population grew, the collective energy of their lives and development fed Tiamat, enabling him to grow within the planet's core. The moment humanity's growth reached a critical threshold, Tiamat's emergence would be triggered, a cataclysmic event that would result in the planet's destruction but would give birth to a celestial of immense power and significance. The weight of this revelation is staggering. For millennia, the Eternals believed they were protectors, sent to Earth to guard humanity from the monstrous deviants and to aid in their progress. They had forged deep connections with humans, shared their joys and sorrows, and in some cases, even fallen in love with them. To now discover that their actions were all part of a larger, impersonal design to sacrifice humanity for the birth of another being is a betrayal that cuts to the core of their identities. It casts a shadow over every choice they've made and every life they've saved, forcing them to question whether they were ever truly the heroes they imagined themselves to be. Adding to the complexity of this revelation is the history of the deviants themselves. Arishem explains that the deviants were his first creation, designed with the purpose of eliminating apex predators on developing planets to ensure that intelligent life could flourish. However, the deviants, much like humanity, evolved in ways that Arishem did not anticipate. They became self-aware and began to deviate, ironically living up to their name, from their original purpose, turning into predators themselves and disrupting the natural order. To counter this unforeseen development, Arishem created the Eternals as a more advanced and obedient species, programmed to exterminate the deviants while remaining entirely loyal to their mission. Unlike the deviants, the Eternals were designed to be incapable of evolving or questioning their purpose, or so Arishem believed. This revelation about the deviants adds a layer of tragedy to their story. For centuries, the Eternals saw the deviants as nothing more than mindless monsters, their natural enemies in a cosmic game of survival. But now, it becomes clear that the deviants were victims of the same system that created the Eternals. They too were pawns in Arishem's grand design, discarded and vilified when they no longer served their purpose. The parallels between the two species are undeniable, and it forces the Eternals to confront the uncomfortable truth that they too are expendable in the eyes of their Creator. For some of the Eternals, this truth is too much to bear. They had always looked to Arishem as a god, a being of infinite wisdom and benevolence. To realize that he views them as tools devoid of intrinsic worth is a shattering blow. Druig, who has long struggled with the moral limitations of their mission, finds validation in his cynicism, but also a renewed sense of anger. He had always questioned why they were forbidden from intervening in human conflicts, why they couldn't stop wars or genocides, even when they had the power to do so. Now, he understands that their inaction was not a test of moral discipline, but a calculated choice to allow humanity to grow unchecked, feeding Tiamat's gestation. Cersei, meanwhile, grapples with the immense responsibility thrust upon her. As the new de facto leader of the Eternals, she must decide whether to continue obeying Arishem or to defy him and protect the planet she has come to love. Her connection to humanity, forged over thousands of years of living among them, gives her a unique perspective. Unlike some of her fellow Eternals, who view humans with detachment or even disdain, Circe sees their potential for growth, creativity, and love. She cannot accept that their lives are a mere means to an end, a disposable resource in a cosmic cycle of creation and destruction. The group is deeply divided by this revelation. Icarus, the most loyal to Arishem, struggles to reconcile his faith in their creator with the devastation the emergence will bring. For him, the Celestials are the architects of the universe, responsible for the creation of galaxies, stars, and life itself. Without their work, there would be no universe as they know it. He believes that the emergence is a necessary sacrifice, a small price to pay for the continuation of cosmic balance. His unwavering belief puts him at odds with the others, particularly Circe, who sees the value of individual lives and refuses to accept their destruction as inevitable. The moral and philosophical debates among the Eternals are some of the film's most compelling moments. Kingo, ever the pragmatist, initially sides with Icarus, arguing that their duty is to obey Arishem, but he ultimately refuses to fight against his family, choosing instead to leave the group. Phastos, who had once lost faith in humanity after witnessing the horrors of Hiroshima, finds himself inspired by his family to fight for Earth, realizing that humanity's flaws are part of what makes them worth saving. Gilgamesh and Thena, who have found solace in their bond, quietly commit to protecting the planet, understanding that their love and loyalty to each other are more important than obedience to a distant, unfeeling creator. As the Eternals debate their next move, the threat of the Deviants looms large. The leader of the Deviants, Kroo, has evolved beyond his kind, gaining intelligence and the ability to absorb the powers of Eternals he kills. He too seeks vengeance against the system that created and abandoned his species, but his methods are ruthless and indiscriminate. While Kroo's storyline serves as a secondary conflict, it mirrors the Eternals' own struggle for identity and purpose, highlighting the unintended consequences of Arishem's grand design. Ultimately, the revelations from Arishem force the Eternals to confront not only their mission, but also their own sense of self. For beings who have lived for thousands of years, their purpose has always been a guiding principle, a reason for their existence. To learn that this purpose was a lie, a mere tool in a larger plan, is to lose a part of themselves. Yet, in this loss, they also find freedom. The freedom to choose their own path, to define their own meaning, and to fight for what they believe is right. As the Eternals prepare to stop the emergence, they know they are not just fighting for humanity, but for their own redemption. Their defiance of Arishem is not merely an act of rebellion, but a declaration of their individuality, their capacity for love, and their belief in the value of life. The stakes could not be higher, and the bonds between them are tested as never before. It is a battle not just for the survival of Earth, but for the soul of the Eternals themselves, a fight to prove that they are more than mere pawns, that they are, in the truest sense, alive. The conflict within the group is one of the most gripping and emotional arcs of Eternals. It's not just about a clash of ideals, but a deeply personal reckoning for each character, as they wrestle with their purpose and their place in the grand scheme of the universe. The central dilemma, whether to allow the emergence to proceed, sacrificing Earth to ensure the continuation of life elsewhere, or to rebel against their creator to save humanity, sets the stage for profound moral questions. Each Eternal's stance on the matter is shaped by their unique experiences over millennia, making their choices feel deeply personal and layered with complexity. Icarus, portrayed as the most powerful and steadfast of the group, embodies unyielding loyalty to Arishem and the mission they were created to fulfill. His belief in the necessity of the emergence is unwavering, and he sees it as a sacred duty, one that transcends his personal relationships. Icarus's conflict is heartbreaking because it's not born out of malice or selfishness but from a rigid adherence to what he believes is the greater good. He is a soldier through and through, trained to follow orders without question. Yet, beneath his stoic exterior, lies a man who is deeply torn. His love for Cersei complicates his resolve, and though he tries to suppress it, the weight of his emotions is palpable. The film gives us glimpses of his inner turmoil, especially in the scenes where he confronts his fellow Eternals. His actions, while antagonistic, are rooted in a tragic belief that he is doing what's right, even if it means betraying those he loves. On the other side of the conflict stands Cersei, whose connection to humanity has always been her defining trait. Unlike Icarus, Cersei doesn't see Earth as just another planet in the Celestials' grand design, she sees it as home. Her ability to transform matter reflects her adaptability and her willingness to embrace change, a stark contrast to Icarus's rigidity. Cersei's love for humanity is not abstract, it's deeply personal, shaped by centuries of living among them and witnessing their resilience and beauty. Her relationship with Dane Whitman further grounds her character, showing her capacity for love and connection beyond her eternal nature. Cersei's leadership in the face of the emergence is a quiet yet powerful force. She doesn't rely on physical strength, but on her compassion and determination to save the people she cares about. Her journey is one of self-discovery, as she learns to embrace her role as a leader and her ability to challenge even the most powerful beings in the universe. Phastos, the Eternal with a brilliant mind for technology, has a particularly poignant arc in this conflict. Once a firm believer in humanity's potential, Phastos' faith was shattered after witnessing the horrors of Hiroshima, an event he blames himself for facilitating through his technological advancements. The guilt and despair he carries from this tragedy lead him to withdraw from his role as an Eternal and find solace in building a family. His husband and son represent the hope and love he thought he had lost, and it is through them that he rediscovers his belief in humanity. Phastos' decision to fight for Earth is deeply emotional, driven by his desire to protect his family and ensure a future for them. His character demonstrates that even in the face of immense guilt and pain, redemption is possible. The film beautifully portrays his journey, showing how love and hope can reignite one's purpose. Druig, the Eternal with the power to control minds, presents another compelling perspective. His disillusionment with the mission stems from his inability to stand by and watch humans destroy one another while he has the power to stop it. This conflict leads him to leave the group centuries earlier, retreating to a remote village where he uses his powers to create a peaceful community. Druig's cynicism and defiance make him one of the most intriguing characters as he openly challenges Arisham's rules and questions the morality of their mission. Despite his gruff demeanor, Druig's actions reveal a deep compassion for humanity. His choice to use his powers to protect, rather than control, speaks to his integrity and his belief in the potential for goodness in people. His decision to rejoin the fight against the emergence is a powerful moment, as it shows that even those who have been deeply hurt by the world can still find the strength to fight for it. Athena and Gilgamesh, while not as directly involved in the philosophical debates, add another layer of humanity to the story. Athena's struggle with Madwairi, a condition caused by the overwhelming weight of her memories, makes her a symbol of the burden the Eternals bear. Her relationship with Gilgamesh, who selflessly dedicates his life to caring for her, is a testament to the deep bonds they share. Gilgamesh's unwavering loyalty and Athena's eventual reclaiming of her warrior spirit underscore the themes of love and sacrifice that run through the film. Their connection reminds us that even in the face of cosmic stakes, it is the personal relationships that truly define us. The conflict reaches its emotional peak as the Eternals confront one another over their differing beliefs. The film doesn't shy away from the pain and betrayal that comes with such divisions. Icarus's confrontation with the group is both heartbreaking and intense, as he is forced to fight the very people he once called family. The battle is not just physical but deeply emotional, as each character grapples with the consequences of their choices. The pain in Icarus's eyes as he faces Circe is particularly poignant, as it encapsulates the tragedy of their situation. Two people who love each other but are driven apart by their convictions. The film masterfully balances these individual arcs, weaving them into a cohesive narrative that explores what it means to be human, even for beings who are not. The Eternals, despite their immortality and powers, are deeply flawed and relatable, struggling with questions of loyalty, purpose, and love. Their conflict is not just about saving Earth, but about defining their own identities in the face of a creator who sees them as tools rather than individuals. This exploration of free will and self-determination adds a philosophical depth to the story, elevating it beyond a typical superhero film. In the end, the resolution of the conflict is as much about the character's growth as it is about stopping the emergence. Circe's decision to transform Tiamat into marble, effectively killing a celestial, is a moment of immense courage and defiance. It is the ultimate act of rebellion against a system that values creation at the cost of destruction. The fact that the Eternals are willing to stand against their creator for the sake of humanity is a testament to their evolution. They are no longer just guardians following orders. They are individuals making choices based on their own values and beliefs. The aftermath of the conflict leaves the group forever changed. Icarus, unable to live with the guilt of betraying his family and his love for Circe, chooses to fly into the sun in a moment of poetic tragedy. Sprite, longing to experience a normal human life, gives up her immortality, symbolizing a desire to break free from the constraints of her eternal existence. The group's unity is fractured, but their shared decision to protect Earth binds them in a way that transcends their differences. Through this conflict, Eternals delivers a story that is not just about saving the world, but about the complexities of morality, love, and identity. It's a tale of individuals who, despite their cosmic origins, embody the very best and worst of humanity. Their journey is a reflection of our own struggles with purpose and belonging, making their story resonate on a deeply personal level. As the Eternals prepare to stop the emergence, their primary focus is on the looming destruction of Earth due to the birth of Tiamat, the Celestial. However, amidst this cosmic crisis, another significant threat rises: the Deviants. For much of the movie, the Deviants serve as the primary adversaries of the Eternals, their existence tied to an ancient battle that spans millennia. Yet, as the story unfolds, the Deviants take on a new dimension, both literally and figuratively, with their leader, Kumail, emerging as a pivotal figure. His evolution and growing intelligence mark a turning point in their narrative, creating a parallel story of beings fighting against forces that have manipulated them for eons. Crow's emergence as a sentient and emotionally complex character adds depth to the story. Initially, the Deviants are introduced as monstrous predators, mindlessly hunting humans and threatening civilizations. This aligns with the Eternals' mission to eliminate them as they protect humanity. The dynamic between the two groups is straightforward at first. The Deviants are the predators, and the Eternals are the protectors. However, Crow's evolution complicates this binary perspective. As he gains intelligence, Crow begins to articulate the pain and suffering of his kind. He comes to understand that the Deviants, much like the Eternals, are pawns in the grand plan orchestrated by the Celestials. Through COO, the film begins to explore the existential plight of the Deviants. Created by the Celestials to eliminate apex predators on developing planets, they were meant to ensure that intelligent life could thrive and fuel the emergence of new Celestials. However, the Celestials' creation backfired when the Deviants evolved beyond their intended purpose, becoming uncontrollable and turning into predators themselves. This led to the creation of the Eternals, beings designed to counteract the Deviants. Crow's bitterness stems from this history, as he views the Eternals as accomplices in the suffering and eradication of his kind. His perspective adds moral ambiguity to the conflict, challenging the Eternals' understanding of their mission and their own complicity in the Celestials' manipulative schemes. Crow's interactions with the Eternals are charged with tension and emotion. He blames them not only for the destruction of the deviants, but also for failing to see the parallels between their fates. Both the deviants and the Eternals were created with singular purposes, stripped of agency and bound to the will of the Celestials. Crow's resentment is palpable, and his confrontations with the Eternals, particularly Thena, highlight this anger. Thena, suffering from Mod Wyre, represents the fragility of the Eternals' design, a reminder that they, too, are not infallible. Crow's ability to evolve and adapt contrasts sharply with the Eternals' static existence, creating a compelling dichotomy between the two groups. One of the most striking aspects of Crow's character is his physical transformation. As he absorbs the powers of other Eternals, he becomes more humanoid, shedding his monstrous appearance and gaining the ability to articulate his thoughts. This physical evolution mirrors his intellectual and emotional awakening, making him a more relatable and sympathetic character. The design of Crow is both fascinating and unsettling, with his shifting form symbolizing his struggle to reconcile his monstrous origins with his newfound intelligence. However, despite these layers, the film does not delve deeply enough into Crow's character, leaving his potential largely untapped. The battle between the Eternals and Crow's deviants serves as a metaphor for the broader themes of the movie. Both groups are caught in a cycle of violence and manipulation, fighting battles dictated by their creators. Crow's realization of this truth sets him apart, as he becomes the only deviant to question their purpose and seek meaning beyond their programmed instincts. This makes him a tragic figure, driven by a desire for justice, but ultimately consumed by his rage and desperation. His quest for vengeance against the Eternals is both personal and symbolic, representing the larger struggle of beings striving to break free from the chains of their creators. Crow's arc also serves to highlight the flaws and limitations of the Celestials. Erisham, the Prime Celestial, is portrayed as an all-powerful being with a grand vision for the universe. Yet, his creations, the Deviants and the Eternals, are imperfect, plagued by their own internal struggles and conflicts. Crow's evolution underscores the unintended consequences of the Celestials' actions, revealing the cracks in their seemingly infallible plan. This adds a layer of critique to the narrative, challenging the idea of omnipotent beings and their right to dictate the fate of others. Despite these intriguing elements, Crow's storyline feels underdeveloped compared to the central conflict among the Eternals themselves. His character is introduced with great potential, but his arc is rushed and lacks the depth needed to fully explore his motivations and struggles. The emotional weight of his story is overshadowed by the larger narrative of the emergence and the Eternals' moral dilemmas. This is a missed opportunity, as Crow's perspective could have added a richer layer to the film's exploration of purpose, identity, and free will. The final confrontation between Crow and the Eternals is visually stunning but emotionally underwhelming. While his battles with Thena showcase her warrior prowess and hint at a deeper connection between the two characters, they fail to fully realize the potential of their dynamic. Thena's struggle with her fractured memories and Crow's evolution could have been explored in greater detail, creating a more impactful resolution to their conflict. Instead, Crow's demise feels abrupt, cutting short a storyline that could have added significant depth to the movie. Crow's presence in Eternals raises important questions about the nature of creation and the consequences of power. His journey from a mindless predator to a sentient being seeking justice mirrors the Eternals' own journey of self-discovery. Both groups grapple with their roles in a grand cosmic plan, questioning the morality of their actions and the intentions of their creators. Crow's perspective challenges the Eternals to confront their own complicity and consider the broader implications of their mission. This makes him a compelling character, even if his arc is not fully realized. In conclusion, Crow's evolution and role in Eternals add an intriguing layer to the story, highlighting the shared struggles of the Deviants and the Eternals. His journey underscores the film's themes of purpose, identity, and the consequences of creation, offering a poignant critique of the Celestials' grand plan. However, the underdevelopment of his character and rushed resolution to his storyline leave much to be desired. Crow's potential as a complex and sympathetic antagonist is evident, but it remains largely untapped, overshadowed by the larger narrative of the emergence and the Eternals' internal conflicts. Nevertheless, his presence adds depth to the film, reminding us that even those perceived as monsters have stories worth telling. The climax of Eternals is where everything, the story, the characters, and their emotional arcs, converge into a breathtaking and poignant showdown. This isn't just another Marvel battle with flashy effects and larger-than-life stakes. It's a deeply personal moment for the characters, each of whom must reconcile their sense of duty, loyalty, and love for humanity. The stage is set as the Eternals realize they're running out of time to stop Tiamut's emergence. The Celestial's massive form begins to rise from the Earth, with parts of his body already breaking through the planet's crust. The sheer scale of this moment is overwhelming, with visuals that emphasize the enormity of the event. You can feel the tension in the air as the ground shakes, the ocean churns, and cracks spread across the Earth. It's not just a fight to save the planet. It's a fight against a cosmic force that dwarfs everything else. The stakes couldn't be higher. The group is divided, and this adds a layer of heartbreak to the battle. Icarus, who has remained steadfast in his loyalty to Arishem, believes that the emergence must happen for the greater good of the universe. He sees Tiamut's birth as a necessary sacrifice, even if it means the destruction of Earth. His unwavering faith in the Celestials' plan pits him against the rest of the Eternals, and it's devastating to watch. Icarus isn't a villain in the traditional sense. He's a man torn between his love for his family and his duty to his Creator. This internal conflict makes his actions all the more tragic. As Tiamut's emergence accelerates, the Eternals use their unique abilities to try and stop it. The fight scenes are beautifully choreographed, blending raw power with intricate teamwork. Athena, the warrior of the group, wields her energy weapons with precision and grace, taking on deviants and standing as a shield for her friends. Her combat skills are a testament to her strength, but what's more striking is the determination in her eyes. Despite her struggles with Madwiri, she fights with everything she has, embodying the spirit of a protector. Druig, who has long wrestled with his power to control minds, steps into the battle with a fierce resolve. His ability to influence others becomes a critical tool as he tries to subdue Icarus and keep the team united. There's a raw vulnerability to Druig in these moments. He's someone who has always questioned authority, and now he's putting his trust in a cause greater than himself. His journey from cynicism to hope is one of the film's most subtle but powerful arcs. Phastos, the genius inventor, shines in the climax as he uses his technological prowess to create a device that can amplify the Eternals' combined energy and channel it into Circe. His inventions have always been his way of contributing to the world, and in this moment, they become his greatest gift to humanity. There's an emotional weight to Phastos' actions. He's a father and a husband, fighting not just for the world, but for the family he loves. The quiet strength in his determination is deeply moving. Kingo, who chose to step away from the battle earlier, is notably absent during the physical confrontation. While this decision is controversial, it highlights the complexity of the characters and their individual choices. Kingo's faith in Icarus conflicts with his love for his family, and his absence is a reminder that not everyone can find clarity in moments of crisis. It's a bold narrative choice that adds layers to the story. The emotional core of the climax is Cersei. Throughout the film, she has been seen as the heart of the group, someone who connects deeply with humanity and its beauty. Unlike the others, Cersei's power to transform matter isn't traditionally combative, but it's her compassion and love for Earth that make her the true leader. As the situation becomes dire, it's Cersei who steps up, not with force but with a quiet, determined strength. Cersei's transformation of Tiamat into marble is the culmination of her journey. The scene is visually stunning, with golden cosmic energy flowing through her as she channels the combined power of the Eternals. The transformation itself is almost poetic, as Tiamat, a being of unimaginable power, is turned into a part of the earth he was meant to destroy. It's a moment that blends science fiction and spirituality, showing the beauty of sacrifice and the power of unity. Cersei's act is not just one of heroism, it's a declaration of her love for Earth and its people. She chooses humanity, flaws and all, over the grand designs of the Celestials. What makes this moment even more powerful are the emotions that ripple through the group. Varys, witnessing Cersei's courage and the unity of his family, is overcome with guilt and sorrow. His love for Cersei is evident in his eyes, but it's too late for reconciliation. Unable to live with the weight of his betrayal, Varys flies into the sun, in a moment that feels both mythic and deeply personal. It's a tragic end for a character who was torn between duty and love, a reminder that even gods are not immune to pain and regret. As the dust settles, the Eternals are left to reflect on their actions and the cost of their victory. Sprite, who has always longed to live a normal human life, chooses to give up her immortality, a decision that is both heartbreaking and hopeful. Her choice adds a bittersweet note to the ending, as she begins a new chapter while the others prepare for the challenges ahead. The climax of Eternals isn't just about stopping a world-ending event, it's about the characters confronting their own identities, beliefs, and relationships. It's a battle that's as much about internal struggles as it is about external threats. The stunning visuals and intense action are complemented by moments of quiet introspection and emotional resonance, making the climax one of the most memorable and impactful in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ultimately, Cersei's transformation of Tiamat isn't just a victory for the Eternals. It's a testament to the power of love, compassion, and the belief that humanity, with all its imperfections, is worth saving. The film leaves you with a sense of wonder and a deeper appreciation for the complexities of its characters, making the climax not just an ending, but a celebration of what it means to fight for what you believe in. The ending of Eternals 2021 is a profoundly bittersweet conclusion that leaves audiences contemplating the moral complexity of the characters and the weight of their choices. The film, having explored cosmic grandeur, deep philosophical dilemmas, and complex character dynamics, culminates in a moment where the Eternals, despite their victory, must reckon with the consequences of their actions. The fate of each member of the group is determined by their personal beliefs, their sense of duty, and their understanding of humanity's place in the universe. After the climactic battle to prevent the emergence of Tiamat, the Celestial who would have destroyed Earth to make way for a new creation, the Eternals' mission is ultimately successful, but not without its emotional and moral toll. The triumph is not a simple victory. It is a moment of personal loss and sacrifice for the characters, as their journey through the film has shown that their relationship with Earth and its inhabitants has deeply changed them. What we witness in the final scenes is not just the conclusion of an action-packed spectacle, but the painful resolution of internal struggles, allegiances, and the weight of immortality. At the heart of this ending is Varys, one of the most compelling and tragic characters in Eternals. Throughout the film, Icarus is portrayed as the steadfast leader, loyal to the Celestials, and driven by a sense of duty that transcends his personal emotions. He is the archetypal perfect warrior, with powers that are nearly godlike: flight, heat vision, super strength, and a profound sense of responsibility to the celestial plan. However, as the film unfolds, Icarus's loyalty to Arishem, the celestial who sent them to Earth, is put to the test. He comes to the painful realization that the destruction of Earth, the annihilation of humanity, is part of a larger cosmic cycle that he has spent his life serving without question. The tragic arc of Icarus is built on his internal conflict between duty and his love for his fellow Eternals. He is deeply in love with Circe, the compassionate Eternal who serves as the film's moral compass. Their bond is strong, and at one point, it is even implied that they share a deep connection that transcends their mission. However, when Circe and the others reject the celestial plan, refusing to let Earth be destroyed for the greater cosmic good, Icarus is torn. His loyalty to Arishem and the celestial order clashes violently with his love for Circe and his deepening recognition of humanity's value. Icarus's decision to betray his family, his fellow Eternals, is one of the most painful moments in the film. He chooses to follow Arishem's directive, and in doing so, he becomes an adversary to the very people he has shared centuries of experience with. This betrayal, however, is not driven by malice, but by a tragic sense of duty and guilt. Icarus feels trapped by his own sense of destiny, knowing that, as an Eternal, he is bound to serve the Celestials' higher purpose. He believes in the inevitability of the celestial plan and struggles to reconcile this with his growing affection for Earth and the people he's sworn to protect. When he ultimately chooses to fight against the Eternals, the depth of his emotional turmoil is palpable. The audience can feel the pain and heartbreak in his eyes, understanding that he doesn't want to be on the opposing side but feels compelled to follow the course that has been laid out for him. The tragic conclusion to Icarus's arc comes in the final moments of the film when, overcome by guilt and remorse for his betrayal, he chooses to end his life. In a poignant and mythic moment, Icarus flies directly into the sun, sacrificing himself in an act of redemption. This moment, while visually stunning, is also deeply tragic. It's a symbolic gesture of self-punishment, a way for Icarus to atone for his sins and the harm he caused by siding with the Celestials. The sun, often regarded as a symbol of life and light, here becomes the place where Icarus seeks solace, away from the burden of his guilt. His decision is not one of malice or vengeance, but of self-purification, reflecting his belief that he cannot live with the consequences of his actions. It is, in a way, the ultimate expression of his internal struggle, a tragic hero who, in the end, finds no peace but only the hope of escape through self-sacrifice. Parallel to Icarus's tragic arc is Sprite, another Eternal whose fate is equally heartbreaking. Throughout the film, Sprite is portrayed as a youthful and seemingly innocent character, cursed with the appearance of a child, despite being thousands of years old. This immortality, while initially perceived as a gift, becomes a prison for Sprite. She longs to experience life as a human, to grow old, to fall in love, and to live a normal life, desires that are forever out of reach due to her eternal youth. Sprite's frustration with her immortality and her unrequited love for Icarus are key aspects of her character. Her feelings of being trapped, unable to fully engage with the world, are compounded by the fact that she has spent centuries as a passive observer, unable to change her circumstances. When the choice is presented to her, remain immortal or become human, Sprite chooses to give up her immortality. This decision, while not as dramatic as Icarus's sacrifice, is equally profound. It is an act of self-liberation, a rejection of the life she has known for so long. Sprite's decision is heartbreaking because it signifies a loss of innocence. She chooses to live a mortal life, aware that she will eventually age and die, but in doing so, she is embracing a future filled with real experiences, pain, love, and growth. It's a bittersweet resolution for her character as she finally gains something she's desired for centuries, a chance at a normal human life. However, this choice also highlights the tragic nature of her existence. Her immortality has been both a blessing and a curse, and by giving it up, she is forced to confront the inevitability of death. The conclusion of Eternals is a moment of deep emotional impact for the entire team. The Eternals, once a unified force dedicated to protecting Earth, are now fractured. Icarus's self-sacrifice, Sprite's decision to become human, and the unresolved tension between the group leave them forever changed. They are no longer just a team of warriors. They are individuals with personal stakes, each having experienced the weight of immortality in their own unique ways. While they may have stopped the emergence of Tiamat, the battle for Earth is far from over, and the Eternals must now come to terms with the aftermath of their actions. As the film nears its end, we see the remaining Eternals, Circe, Kingo, and Phastos, facing a new challenge. The appearance of Arishem, the Celestial who had sent them to Earth in the first place, is a chilling moment. Arishem informs the Eternals that their actions have consequences, and he demands that the fate of humanity be judged. This sets the stage for future conflicts, as the Celestials will likely play a more prominent role in the MCU moving forward. The judgment of humanity is an ominous development, one that raises questions about the true nature of the Eternals' mission and the moral implications of their interference in Earth's history. Arishem's appearance serves as a reminder that the Eternals are not just protectors of Earth. They are also instruments of a larger, far more complex cosmic order that they may not fully understand. The ending of Eternals is a masterful conclusion to a story about power, immortality, and the complex nature of free will. It explores deep philosophical questions about humanity's role in the universe, the morality of the Eternals' intervention, and the personal struggles that arise from living forever. While the Eternals may have succeeded in stopping the emergence, the cost is high, and their future is uncertain. The film closes with a sense of unresolved tension, leaving audiences eager to see how the story of the Eternals will continue to unfold in the broader MCU. The Eternals movie, though a standalone entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe (MCU), is packed with exciting moments that point to bigger things to come. Among the most captivating aspects of the film are the mid-credits and post-credits scenes, which open new doors for future MCU installments and tease fans about the connections that will be made in the wider universe. The arrival of Eros, portrayed by the talented Harry Styles, and the mysterious discovery of the Ebony Blade by Dane Whitman are two of the key moments that leave audiences eager for what's next in the MCU. These scenes not only bring in new characters, but also lay the groundwork for storylines that could significantly impact the MCU moving forward. Let's break down these two major teases in more detail. The arrival of Eros, a new Eternal and brother to Thanos. In one of the mid-credits scenes, the film introduces Eros, the brother of Thanos, played by none other than Harry Styles. Eros is a character from the comics, and his appearance is one of the most surprising and intriguing moments of the film. Thanos, the Mad Titan, was one of the most formidable and terrifying villains the MCU has ever seen. His reign of terror culminated in the epic Avengers, Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, where he wiped out half of all life in the universe with the snap of his fingers using the Infinity Gauntlet. Thanos' actions have left lasting scars in the MCU, and fans were left wondering what could possibly follow such a powerful and destructive force. Enter Eros. In the comics, Eros, also known as Star Fox, is an Eternal who is very different from his infamous brother. While Thanos was a tyrant and a conqueror, Eros is portrayed as a hedonistic and charming character, with a much lighter and more carefree personality. He is known for his abilities to manipulate emotions and cause people to experience intense pleasure or desire. Despite his carefree demeanor, Eros has also been depicted as someone who has played a role in important cosmic events and who shares a complex connection with his brother, Thanos. While Thanos wreaked havoc across the universe, Eros is often portrayed as a more benign figure, with his charm and wit often concealing a deeper sense of morality. His appearance in the MCU could signify a shift in tone, moving away from Thanos' dark legacy and potentially introducing a new, more morally ambiguous character who could have his own arc within the larger Marvel universe. Eros's arrival is particularly intriguing because it introduces the possibility of exploring the complicated relationship between the Eternals and the consequences of their long history. Eros is an Eternal, but unlike many of his fellow Eternals, his motivations and allegiances could be much less clear-cut. It's unclear where Eros's loyalty lies. Will he side with the Eternals in their mission to protect Earth, or will he pursue his own path that might involve more cosmic manipulation? His connection to Thanos only adds layers of intrigue to his character. While Thanos may have caused destruction on a universal scale, Eros could be a character who wants to rebuild or balance out the actions of his brother. His presence in the MCU opens up the possibility of exploring the dynamics within the Eternals themselves, as well as their potential involvement in the larger cosmic battles that are coming to the forefront. The casting of Harry Styles as Eros has generated considerable buzz, as it's a significant departure from the traditional casting choices the MCU has made for characters with cosmic connections. Styles is a beloved pop star and actor, and his casting as a new character in the MCU has only fueled anticipation for his role. The fact that he plays such a key character, one with ties to Thanos, could mean that Eros's role in future films will be central to the overarching storyline of the MCU's next phases. Could Eros be the one to bridge the gap between the older generations of Eternals and the new cosmic threats that are on the horizon? Fans are excited to see how this new character will interact with both the legacy of Thanos and the other Eternals, and how his story will develop in upcoming films. Dane Whitman and the Ebony Blade. The emergence of the Black Knight. The post-credits scene in Eternals introduces us to Dane Whitman, who is portrayed by Kit Harington. Dane is a character with a long history in Marvel Comics, and his appearance is another significant moment for the future of the MCU. Dane Whitman is a relatively normal human, but his connection to the mystical Ebony Blade reveals a fascinating turn in his story. The Ebony Blade is a powerful and cursed weapon that has been wielded by various characters throughout Marvel's history, but its most notable bearer is Dane Whitman himself, who becomes the Black Knight. The scene shows Dane in a moment of personal conflict, as he stands in front of a mysterious chest containing the Ebony Blade. The camera lingers on the blade, hinting at the power it holds. Dane reveals that he is about to make a choice, one that will lead him down a path that could either define or doom him. This moment is charged with anticipation, as fans of the comics know that the Ebony Blade is not just a weapon, it is a significant piece of Dane's transformation into the Black Knight. The Ebony Blade is known for its mystical properties, and in the comics, it has often been depicted as a cursed weapon that can only be wielded by those who are willing to embrace its dark influence. For Dane, wielding the Ebony Blade is both a source of great power and great peril, as the blade is known to corrupt those who use it. This scene is tantalizing because it introduces the Black Knight as a potential new hero, or anti-hero, in the MCU, someone who could potentially join the ranks of the Avengers, or stand as a lone vigilante. While Dane's character has been established as a man with a complicated past and a connection to Cersei, his decision to take up the Ebony Blade signals a major shift in his storyline. He's no longer just the man in a relationship with an Eternal. He's now poised to become a hero in his own right. The choice to focus on Dane's journey toward becoming the Black Knight is a reflection of the MCU's strategy of expanding its roster of heroes, offering a broader range of characters who bring different abilities, perspectives, and moral complexities to the table. The presence of the ebony blade also hints at the upcoming exploration of the supernatural and mystical elements in the MCU. The blade itself is a magical artifact, and its association with characters like the Black Knight and its ties to dark forces opens the door to exploring more mystical storylines. This sets the stage for future films and shows that the MCU is beginning to integrate more of the magical and mythological elements of its vast comic book universe, with characters like Doctor Strange, Blade, and potentially Moon Knight playing pivotal roles. As Dane makes his choice, we are left to wonder what role the Black Knight will play in the MCU. Will he become a new Avenger? Will he team up with other supernatural or mystical heroes? The introduction of the Ebony Blade serves as a powerful setup for Dane's eventual transformation into the Black Knight, setting the stage for him to become one of the more complex and intriguing characters in the MCU. The bigger picture: expanding the Marvel Universe. The mid-credits and post-credits scenes in Eternals aren't just throwaway moments or fan service. They are crucial in expanding the MCU and setting the stage for future storylines. With the arrival of Eros and the emergence of the Black Knight, the MCU is broadening its scope, delving into cosmic realms, supernatural forces, and new character arcs. The Eternals movie has already introduced us to a group of immortal beings with a long and complex history, and these credits scenes are a natural extension of that legacy, revealing how the story of the Eternals is just the beginning of something much bigger. The introduction of Eros and the Black Knight also signals the MCU's commitment to bringing in new characters who can potentially take center stage in their own stories. These moments not only set up exciting narratives, but also hint at a larger plan in the MCU, one where multiple storylines intersect and characters from different corners of the universe will come together in unexpected ways. As we continue to move into the next phases of the MCU, the stakes will get higher, and the connections between characters will become even more intricate. Final thoughts. The future is bright. The mid-credits and post-credits scenes in Eternals serve as a thrilling glimpse into the future of the MCU. With the introduction of Eros, the brother of Thanos, and Dane Whitman's potential transformation into the Black Knight, the MCU is setting the stage for new adventures, deeper conflicts, and more complex characters. These moments not only deepen the mythology of the MCU, but also leave audiences excited for the next chapters in this ever-expanding cinematic universe. As always, Marvel keeps its fans guessing, offering tantalizing teases of what's to come while ensuring that the journey ahead is filled with surprises and excitement. At its core, Eternals is a story that beautifully encapsulates humanity's complexity, the delicate balance between beauty, flaws, and untapped potential. While the film showcases beings who possess godlike powers, its real magic lies in how it explores the internal struggles, emotional growth, and dilemmas of these immortal beings who, despite their celestial origins, experience very human emotions. This dynamic makes the Eternals' journey not only relatable but also deeply compelling. The film does an exceptional job at showing how these celestial beings, each with their own strengths and vulnerabilities, must confront their past decisions and choices that have, over thousands of years, shaped their relationship with humanity. One of the most striking aspects of Eternals is how it centers on the Eternals' connection to humanity. The very idea that these near-immortal beings, who possess vast powers and come from a cosmic, almost divine place, would form deep, lasting connections with mere mortals is intriguing and thought-provoking. This notion becomes even more poignant as the film reveals that, despite being told by their creator, Arishem, that their mission is solely to protect humanity from deviance, they are forbidden from intervening in human conflicts or tragedies. This directive leaves them as silent observers to the rise and fall of civilizations, witnessing humanity's struggles, achievements, and failures from the sidelines. This idea of being omnipotent but powerless to intervene creates a tension between their celestial purpose and their desire to engage more directly with the people they are meant to protect. Over the centuries, we see how the Eternals struggle with their relationship to humanity. Some, like Cersei, find themselves deeply invested in the lives and emotional well-being of the humans around them. They become more than just protectors, they become a part of the story of human development. For Cersei, a character who can transform materials and matter into something else entirely, her bond with humanity becomes something far more personal. She helps build relationships, form communities, and develop connections that feel authentic. Through Cersei, we see that the Eternals are not indifferent to the flaws and virtues of humanity. Rather, they come to understand and cherish these qualities, seeing them as essential to the very fabric of existence. Cersei's relationship with Ikaris further complicates the Eternals' dynamic with humanity. Ikaris, for much of the film, seems to embody a more stoic and distant approach to their mission. His loyalty to Arishem and the celestial cause is unwavering, and he is willing to carry out actions that challenge the very fabric of the bonds the Eternals have with humans. Ikaris's belief in the greater cosmic order stands in direct contrast to Cersei's belief in human life and its worth. This ideological divide is critical to the narrative of Eternals, as it forces the Eternals to confront their own motivations and question what it means to serve a higher purpose. While Cersei advocates for the preservation of Earth and the lives of its people, Ikaris represents the unyielding adherence to the greater cosmic plan, where individual lives are expendable for the greater good. Their differing viewpoints create an emotional tug-of-war, not just between them but between the entire team of Eternals, all of whom are forced to reckon with the ethics of their mission. Then, there's the character of Druig, who becomes one of the most complex figures in the narrative. Druig is deeply disillusioned with the idea that the Eternals are bound by a celestial directive that forces them to stand by and watch as humanity suffers. His frustration with the limitations of their mission leads him to take matters into his own hands, using his powers of mind control to stop conflicts and violence in isolated communities. His actions, while born from a place of compassion, also reveal a darker side of his character, a desire to impose his own sense of justice and control over others. Druig's storyline resonates on a human level because it speaks to the ongoing conflict many people face when they confront systems of power that are broken, unfair, and often cruel. His decision to leave the Eternals, choosing to protect a small group of people instead of following the Celestials' edict, exemplifies the internal struggle many face when deciding whether to follow orders or act on personal convictions. Druig's arc challenges viewers to think about the balance between the greater good and individual freedom, a dilemma that remains central to the film's exploration of moral choices. On the opposite end of the spectrum is Thena, a warrior with incredible combat skills, but also a fragile mental state. Thena suffers from a condition known as Madwairi, a form of memory loss that results from her immense lifespan and the trauma of her countless battles. This condition makes her unsure of who she is at times, and in one heartbreaking scene, she almost kills one of her fellow Eternals, Gilgamesh, during an episode. Thena's internal battle with herself is tragic, as it portrays how the burden of immortality can weigh heavily on even the most powerful beings. Her condition symbolizes the emotional and psychological toll that immortality and witnessing endless cycles of conflict can have on someone. Thena's struggle to retain her identity and remain connected to her team underscores the film's meditation on the cost of eternal life and the fragility of the human mind, regardless of how divine one's powers may be. Throughout the movie, Eternals explores the theme of identity. Each character grapples with who they are in relation to their mission and the people they protect. Kingo, for instance, takes the more lighthearted route by fully embracing human culture. His career as a Bollywood star reflects his desire to remain connected to humanity, but in a way that feels true to his personality. While his peers are conflicted about their place in the world, Kingo thrives, using his immortality to explore different aspects of life. However, when the conflict around the emergence becomes inevitable, Kingo is faced with the hard truth. He may love humanity, but his loyalty to the Celestials is deeply ingrained. His reluctance to fight against Icarus showcases the emotional conflict that even the most seemingly carefree Eternals feel as they are forced to choose sides. In this way, Eternals stands out not only as a visually stunning Marvel film, but also as a deeply emotional one. The characters' cosmic struggles serve as metaphors for humanity's own internal battles, and their decisions often mirror the complexities and ethical dilemmas that people face in their own lives. The emotional arcs of the Eternals feel grounded in a world that is often larger than life, making their story relatable despite the grand scale of the universe they inhabit. The film doesn't shy away from portraying its characters as flawed and sometimes morally ambiguous. Their actions are driven by love, fear, guilt, and hope, emotions that are profoundly human. The film also succeeds in highlighting the tension between the cosmic and the personal. The Eternals are thrust into a conflict that has far-reaching implications for the universe, but at the same time, their personal stakes are just as high. They are not invincible, and their emotional struggles are just as real as their physical battles. The movie balances epic action sequences like the fight against deviants and Icarus's betrayal with quieter moments of introspection and emotional connection. This is a film that celebrates the complexity of life, showing that even in the face of cosmic forces, the most powerful beings are still vulnerable to the emotions and decisions that define their existence. At the heart of Eternals is a message of hope. Despite the weight of their powers and the seemingly insurmountable obstacles they face, the Eternals ultimately choose to fight for humanity, even when it means defying their creators. This decision speaks to the heart of the film, that humanity's beauty, its capacity for growth, its imperfections, and its potential are worth fighting for. It's a story of redemption and sacrifice, as the Eternals, despite their flaws and doubts, choose to protect the very species they were once told to observe from a distance. The ending, though bittersweet, is a reminder that love, connection, and the potential for growth transcend even the most celestial of beings. In the end, Eternals is not just about immortals with godlike powers. It's a deeply human story about the choices we make, the bonds we form, and the consequences of our actions. The characters' emotional journeys make them feel real, even when the stakes are cosmic, making this film not just another superhero epic, but a nuanced exploration of what it means to be human in a universe full of uncertainty. Eternals may be set in the far reaches of space, but at its heart, it is a story about humanity, its beauty, flaws, and potential. Eternals, 2021, is a film that both challenges and broadens the scope of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. Directed by Chloe Zhao, it brings together a group of immortal beings, each with extraordinary powers, who have secretly protected humanity for thousands of years. As a fan of superhero films, Eternals is a refreshing departure from the typical Marvel fare, offering a blend of cosmic stakes, philosophical questions, and deeply personal stories. However, while it may lack some of the immediate thrills of other MCU films, it more than makes up for it with its introspective exploration of character and identity, making it one of the most unique entries in the Marvel franchise. From the very beginning, Eternals takes a different approach to storytelling. Unlike many Marvel films that focus primarily on one central character or a smaller team, Eternals presents an ensemble cast of celestial beings who have lived among humans for millennia. These Eternals were sent to Earth by Ereshkigal, a celestial, to protect humanity from monstrous creatures known as deviants. However, the plot quickly reveals that the Eternals' purpose is not as simple as protecting humanity. They are also bound by a secret mission to ensure the birth of a new celestial, even if it means the destruction of Earth. This revelation is what sets the tone for much of the film, as the Eternals are forced to grapple with the ethical implications of their original mission and the decisions they must now make to protect humanity. The central theme of Eternals revolves around the relationship between the immortals and humanity. Despite their godlike powers, the Eternals are far from detached, emotionless beings. Instead, they are portrayed as deeply human in their vulnerabilities, desires, and conflicts. This humanizing of godlike beings is perhaps one of the film's most compelling aspects. Throughout the movie, we see that while the Eternals may be thousands of years old and possess unimaginable strength, they still wrestle with issues like guilt, love, loyalty, and self-doubt. This internal struggle is something that elevates the film from just another superhero story to something with greater emotional depth. The film opens with a flashback to ancient civilizations, showing how the Eternals helped shape humanity's evolution without directly interfering in human affairs. These scenes do a fantastic job of establishing the Eternals' role in human history. We witness them helping humanity fend off the deviants, but we also see how their presence has left a lasting mark on the world. The movie suggests that their influence has been instrumental in the advancement of civilizations, from ancient Babylon to Mesopotamia. Yet, despite their involvement, they are forbidden from intervening in human conflicts, wars, or any major tragedies. This rule, set by the Celestials, is a constant source of tension throughout the film. While some Eternals, like Cersei, are empathetic to humanity's struggles, others, like Icarus, uphold the belief that their mission is to observe and protect without interference. One of the key conflicts in Eternals comes from this very tension, the divide between those who believe in the Celestials' plan and those who question its morality. Icarus, one of the most powerful Eternals, believes in the Celestials' larger plan and is willing to do whatever it takes to fulfill his mission, even if it means sacrificing Earth itself. On the other hand, Cersei, who is deeply invested in human life, cannot stand by and watch humanity be destroyed for the sake of cosmic balance. This ideological divide creates an emotional rift within the team, and much of the drama of the film comes from these internal conflicts. It's a dynamic that gives the film a more layered and emotionally driven storyline than one might expect from a Marvel movie. One of the standout characters in the film is Cersei, played by Gemma. As the movie's central figure, Cersei embodies the movie's heart and soul. She is empathetic, kind-hearted, and deeply attached to humanity, especially in her relationship with the humans around her. Cersei's power to manipulate and transform matter is symbolic of her ability to change and adapt. Her deep connection to Earth and its people makes her the emotional core of the film. Her moral compass is what drives the conflict between her and Icarus. Cersei's journey is a delicate balance between doing what's right for the greater good and protecting those she loves. Gemma Chan's performance brings a nuanced, grounded quality to the character, allowing her to become more than just a superhero. She feels like a real person trying to reconcile her place in a universe that is constantly evolving and changing. Then there's Icarus, played by Madden, who provides a sharp contrast to Cersei. While he is incredibly powerful, with the ability to fly and shoot energy beams from his eyes, Icarus is also emotionally distant. His loyalty to the Celestials and their greater plan makes him one of the more tragic figures in the film. The character's internal struggle, torn between his love for Cersei and his devotion to his mission, is something that Madden brings to life in a deeply affecting way. Icarus's tragic flaw lies in his inability to break free from his duty, even when it comes at the cost of the planet he has grown to love. His final decision to fly into the sun in an act of redemption is heart-wrenching, but also fitting for a character who has spent too much time trapped in the shadow of his duties. The other Eternals each add a unique layer to the story. Kingo, played by Kumail Nanjiani, provides a much-needed dose of humor, though his light-hearted exterior hides a deep conflict. Kingo has embraced human culture, becoming a Bollywood star, and his reluctance to fight against Icarus reflects his internal struggle with loyalty to his family and his love for humanity. Similarly, Thena, played by Angelina Jolie, grapples with her own emotional turmoil, suffering from a condition known as Madwiri, which causes her to lose her memory and question her identity. The way her mental health is portrayed is an important narrative choice that adds a level of realism to the otherwise fantastical storyline. Thena's relationship with Gilgamesh, who is portrayed by Don Lee, is one of the emotional highlights of the film, with Gilgamesh showing deep care and compassion for Thena, even as she struggles with her condition. The film also explores the complexities of power and control, particularly through the character of Druig, played by Barry Keoghan. Druig, who has the ability to control minds, becomes disillusioned with humanity and the Eternals' mission after witnessing endless violence and conflict. His decision to intervene and control human behavior in a way that reflects his own sense of justice adds another layer of complexity to his character. Druig's journey is one of moral ambiguity. He is not a traditional villain, but rather a character who sees the flaws in humanity and is willing to take drastic steps to correct them, even if it means taking away free will. The relationship between the Eternals and the human race is complicated further by the arrival of the Deviants. These monstrous creatures, once defeated by the Eternals, return to threaten the planet. Their return is both a literal and symbolic representation of the chaos and conflict that has always plagued humanity. The Deviants are not just enemies to be defeated. They are also a reflection of the Eternals' failure to protect humanity in ways that truly matter. While the Deviants are formidable foes, it is the internal conflict within the Eternals that is the real heart of the story. The film's visual aesthetics are absolutely stunning. From the ancient, breathtaking landscapes of Mesopotamia to the stark beauty of the modern world, Eternals takes full advantage of its vast, otherworldly setting. The film's cinematography is immersive, with sweeping vistas that make the Earth feel both small and infinite at the same time. The action sequences are fast-paced and visually dynamic, but it's the quieter moments of character development that leave the most lasting impact. Zhao's direction is thoughtful and deliberate, allowing for introspective moments amid the larger-than-life action scenes. The movie never feels rushed, and its pacing, while slower than most superhero films, gives the characters the time they need to breathe and grow. One of the most powerful aspects of Eternals is its exploration of legacy. The Eternals are not just fighting for the fate of Earth, they are grappling with the long-term consequences of their actions. As they come to terms with the realization that their mission was always about ensuring the emergence of a new celestial, they must confront the fact that they have been unknowingly complicit in the destruction of the very world they have sworn to protect. This realization forces them to question their purpose and their loyalty to the Celestials. It's a profound moment of self-discovery for each of the characters, and it reflects the broader theme of the film, that even those who seem all-powerful are shaped by the choices they make. Ultimately, Eternals is a film about the complexities of identity, purpose, and connection. It is a celebration of the human experience, showcasing the fragility and beauty of life, even in the face of cosmic forces. The Eternals, despite their immortality, struggle with the same issues that define humanity: love, loss, guilt, and the search for meaning. Their journey is a deeply emotional one, and it's this humanity at the heart of the film that makes it resonate. While Eternals may not have the fast-paced action or humor that many associate with Marvel films, it makes up for it with its rich character development and philosophical depth. It is a film that not only expands the MCU, but also elevates it, giving us a new perspective on what it means to be human, even in the vastness of the cosmos. When Eternals was released in 2021, it marked a significant departure for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. Known for its action-packed sequences, iconic heroes, and familiar characters, this film ventured into uncharted territory, exploring complex themes of existence, identity, and morality. Directed by Chloe Zhao, the film introduced an entirely new set of characters, immortal beings known as the Eternals. These beings were created to protect Earth from the deviants, ancient monsters who threaten humanity. However, what set this movie apart from its MCU predecessors wasn't just the scope of its story, but the way it explored what it means to be human, despite being far beyond human in many ways. One of the most intriguing aspects of Eternals is its exploration of immortality. The Eternals, despite their godlike powers, are faced with the profound challenge of living forever, watching civilizations rise and fall, and being tasked with ensuring humanity's growth. The movie opens with a historical perspective, taking us back to ancient civilizations where the Eternals helped humanity, but were forbidden from intervening in wars or internal human strife. Their duty was solely to protect humanity from the deviants, an ancient race of predators who threatened Earth's survival. For thousands of years, the Eternals quietly witnessed human history unfold, from the building of Babylon to the rise of empires and the development of technology, without getting involved in human conflicts. As the film progresses, we learn that the Eternals' lack of intervention in human affairs is not a reflection of their disinterest, but a result of their strict directive from their creators, the Celestials. The Eternals' purpose was to protect Earth and ensure that it evolved into a place capable of sustaining the birth of a new Celestial, one that would emerge from the planet and ultimately destroy it in the process. This knowledge weighs heavily on the Eternals as they grapple with their loyalties to Arishem, the Celestial who gave them their purpose, and their deep love for humanity, which has grown over the centuries. The conflict between duty and emotion is at the heart of the film. For some Eternals, like Icarus, the idea of fulfilling the Celestials' plan is a form of loyalty, something that must be done for the greater good of the universe. However, for others like Circe, Phastos, and Druig, the idea of sacrificing an entire world and its people for the birth of a new Celestial is unconscionable. The internal struggle within the group is one of the film's central themes, exploring the moral dilemmas of whether a greater cosmic plan should override the lives of individuals. It's in this complex dynamic that Eternals stands out from other superhero films. The performances in Eternals are one of the most remarkable aspects of the film. The ensemble cast, which includes notable actors such as Gemma, Richard Madden, Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, and Kumail Nanjiani, brought a level of depth and authenticity to their characters that made them feel more real than simply superheroes. Gemma, who portrays Circe, is able to capture the character's genuine connection to humanity, making her role one of the most compelling. She plays an Eternal who is deeply empathetic and constantly questioning the morality of her mission. Her relationship with humanity and her romantic bond with Icarus are central to her arc, adding layers to her character as she balances love and responsibility. Richard Madden, playing Icarus, brings the stoic, yet deeply conflicted, leader of the Eternals to life. Icarus's loyalty to the Celestials and his ultimate betrayal creates a complex emotional journey for the character. Madden's portrayal captures the tragic essence of Icarus, someone who is caught between his unwavering devotion to a cosmic cause and his deep feelings for Circe and his family. His performance is nuanced and shows that, despite his godlike powers, Icarus is a character filled with doubt, guilt, and, ultimately, self-destruction. Angelina Jolie's portrayal of Athena, the powerful and emotionally fragile warrior, adds another layer of depth to the film. Athena is a character who struggles with her own mental health, suffering from mod wiry, a condition that causes her to lose memory and go into violent rages. Jolie's portrayal of Athena captures the pain and isolation that comes with immortality, making her more than just a warrior. She is a character haunted by her experiences and the weight of her own mind, making her one of the most human characters in the film, despite her godlike abilities. Kumail Nanjiani, who plays Kingo, brings a much-needed comedic relief to the movie, with his charming portrayal of the Bollywood star-turned-warrior. Kingo, unlike the other Eternals, embraces humanity in a way that is full of joy and humor. Nanjiani's performance is delightful, and his character adds a touch of levity to the film's otherwise heavy themes. However, Kingo's decision not to fight against Icarus in the film's climactic battle shows the internal conflict he faces. He loves humanity but also feels a deep connection to the Eternals' cause. His character arc explores the tension between fame, responsibility, and the greater good, making him a standout in the ensemble. The film also explores the relationship between the Eternals and the people they protect. For centuries, the Eternals watched over Earth, but they were forbidden from interfering in human conflicts. This directive becomes increasingly difficult to follow as the Eternals witness the suffering and chaos caused by humanity's wars, poverty, and inequality. The emotional weight of this decision is felt throughout the film, as the Eternals are forced to confront their limitations in the face of real-world suffering. For some of them, like Phastos, this becomes too much to bear. Phastos, who is a brilliant inventor, has created technological wonders that have greatly advanced human society. However, he is also haunted by his involvement in the creation of weapons of mass destruction, particularly the atomic bomb. His character represents the moral struggle of having immense power but feeling responsible for the suffering it causes. His arc is a powerful commentary on the role of technology in human progress and the consequences of its misuse. The visual effects and cinematography in Eternals are nothing short of breathtaking. Director Chloe Zhao, known for her work on Nomadland, brought her unique vision to the MCU. The film's sweeping landscapes and majestic shots of celestial bodies are a stark contrast to the intimate moments shared between the characters. The cinematography blends the cosmic with the personal, creating a visual language that reinforces the film's central themes of duty, love, and sacrifice. The action sequences are spectacular, with the Eternals using their powers in visually dynamic ways, from Icarus's eye beams to Circe's ability to manipulate matter. However, it's the quieter moments of reflection and emotional confrontation that stand out, moments where the Eternals are forced to confront their own moral compass and the consequences of their choices. One of the most remarkable aspects of Eternals is how it pushes the boundaries of what a superhero film can be. Unlike other Marvel films that focus primarily on action and spectacle, Eternals is a deeply philosophical exploration of identity, purpose, and morality. The film asks difficult questions about the nature of existence and whether a cosmic plan can justify the destruction of an entire world. The movie's handling of these existential themes sets it apart from the typical superhero fare, and it challenges audiences to think about their own place in the universe. The movie also has a diverse cast of characters, each with their own unique backgrounds and abilities. This diversity is crucial in reflecting the vast scope of the story. The Eternals are not just one type of hero. They come from different cultures, time periods, and philosophies. This diversity enriches the narrative and helps emphasize the theme that humanity is made up of different perspectives, experiences, and ways of thinking. The inclusion of characters like Phastos, the first openly gay superhero in the MCU, adds a level of representation that is often overlooked in blockbuster films. As the movie progresses, the stakes become higher, and the Eternals must make difficult choices that could mean the end of Earth as they know it. The final act of the film is emotionally charged, as the Eternals' loyalties are tested, and they must decide whether to protect the Earth or allow the celestial emergence to occur, even if it means the planet's destruction. Even if it means the planet's destruction. This moment of sacrifice and selflessness encapsulates the film's central message, that even the most powerful beings must grapple with the consequences of their actions and their connections to others. At the end of the day, Eternals is more than just a superhero movie. It's a story about love, loss, redemption, and the moral complexities of immortality. While it's set in a cosmic, otherworldly universe, the emotional core of the film is grounded in the very human themes of relationships, sacrifice, and the struggle to do what is right. It's a powerful exploration of what it means to be human, flawed, imperfect, and yet capable of great love and great heroism. Eternals may be set in a universe of gods and celestials, but at its heart, it's a reflection on the choices that shape our world.